Should we do a vocal warm-up or something?
La, 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 la. Okay. That was great. Your face was just great when you did that. So, hi everybody. I am so thrilled to be here virtually with Jess Grippo, who is a dear friend and who is also an incredibly creative woman and creativity coach, and just does amazing work helping people get in touch with their creativity and make their creativity come out. And I know that you guys are just going to get so much value from listening to her and hearing about her experience and what she does with the people that she works with. She's just an incredible lady. So, without any further ado, Jess, hi.
Hi. You're making me blush.
Oh, tell people a little bit about your background as an artist and sort of where you were and what brought you to where you are today and what you're doing today.
Sure. Well, so similar to you, I started out in a very classically trained environment. I was, yes, very boxed in. I was on the, classical ballet route, and I took it, after high school, I took a year off before going to college and just decided to focus fully on ballet. And I auditioned and was going that route. And then all of a sudden, I think it was a lot of fear and it was shaky knees, from prior injuries and things that just made me say, you know what, do I want to do this as a profession or do I want to open my horizon? And there was pressure from my parents to go to regular school. And I finally decided to do that. And dance just slowly drifted away from me. I didn't really have any other options. It was like ballet or nothing, so I chose the nothing route. And years go on. Meanwhile, there's like health issues happening. I find myself in this like job that I'm sitting at a desk all day. When I moved to New York City to become a dancer, just really questioning like, what am I doing with myself? And the health route was what started to get me back to life. And once I was doing that, and once we also went to the same nutrition school, you and I, and, so you know how that is, right? You're getting, and you're like, yes, I'm going to change the world through food, and started helping people in that way. I worked with an amazing center called Flow Living, a women's health center, and it was awesome. And there was also something missing for me because I'm like, that part of myself that is a dancer and an artist and needs to express and move, and it just wasn't happening. Or it would happen here and there, at a karaoke night, I would find myself just going crazy and performing and dancing and like doing and I'm like, wow, there really must be something inside of me that needs to do this more. What is that? And at the time, I was too intimidated to just go to Broadway Dance Center or Steps on Broadway, these places in New York City that can be really intimidating to just walk into when you haven't danced in years. And so I said, okay, what am I going to do that will get me into the groove without exposing myself to that kind of, intimidation? And I started just dancing at home. I would go to the park and dance in like a quiet corner where no one was really around. And I just found like little ways just to start moving in my own way, which was totally new for me. And eventually I started recording these sessions, and I created an anonymous YouTube channel and said, I'm just going to, I wanted to share it with people, but no one I knew. I knew that it was something like, okay, this is just for me right now. So I did, and it felt really good and became this secret creative outlet that I had where I would, escape to the park. And, one of my first videos was, it was in the rain and I was on a jog and it started raining in the park. And so everyone kind of clears out of the park when it rains. So I took advantage of this opportunity, and I had my little iPod at the time, and with the cord of the iPod, I tied it to a fence so that it was facing me, and just in the rain, I hit record, had a little recorder on there, I just started dancing, and that was one of the first videos that was actually the first video that I shared publicly. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, let me share it with people. And from then it just became this thing that I did, and I'm so grateful that I had that impulse, and I was like, I have to start somewhere, let me just do this. And now it's still a thing that I do. I still keep the dance video blog. And not only that, but it started to inform my coaching practice. So the coaching work that I was doing with people went from being majorly health focused to now all of a sudden attracting clients who were also dealing with wanting to paint again, or like trying to find themselves as artists, even though it was really scary. And not everyone was just a dancer, but all over the map. I'm like, this is interesting, and it started to really take on a life of its own. And that's how I started to transition into doing creativity coaching specifically, which is what I do now. Yeah, that's the long answer to your question, but that's kind of how I'm doing what I do today.
Well, I think it's incredible, and I've actually seen some of your dance videos on your blog, and I recommend that everyone check them out. Where can they check them out? Where can they see them?
So you can go, my website, jessgrippo.com. You'll see right at the thing, there's like a picture of me like in a big leap dancing. You can click on that and it'll take you to a page where there's like more dance videos. It's also on Tumblr, jessgrippo.tumblr.com.
The first time I saw one of your dance videos, I remember emailing you right away and being like, this was so inspiring. Just the courage that it takes to just do something like that in public. I was so moved by that. It's one thing to for me to sit and craft a song, it's like a very private experience, but to video yourself in a public place dancing and just expressing and you're just bursting with life when you're doing it. I was so inspired. It really moved me, and it inspired me so much that I ended up coming to your dance class. So I want you to talk a little bit about your dance class that you offer, and who that's for, and what that's about.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, before I talk about that, I just want to speak to what you just said, because the fact that you're saying how expressive I am in the videos is it always I always have to do a double take when someone says something like that, because it's hard to believe sometimes that I am doing it, because I was if you would have met me in my ballerina days, it was improvisation, just doing what I wanted to, dancing. What does that even mean? I had no idea. I only knew the positions that I knew and the steps that someone was telling me to do. And so it's I don't know, it's such a different thing, and it's just amazing. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and I so relate to that, because I grew up playing classical piano, and I really only approached the piano if there was music in front of me to read. Yeah. Or, if I had memorized something and I was playing it. But the idea of creating something that's my very own expression on the piano was not only improv, composing. Oh, that's for those people. I can't do that. But it was even beyond that. It was who do I think I am to create something of my own? I had a lot of that I had to work through. So I'm wondering if you had any of that too, of can I do this step? Can I go in this direction? Can I move this way? Is this allowed? And then discovering hey, it is, and it's good.
Yeah, it was very scary when I first started just moving on my own and exploring what that was. And I started to notice I would kind of get in the same ruts of doing similar movements and things like that. And so, eventually kind of watching other people's videos or taking classes or doing things that would expose me to other styles helped too. But I realized that it's cool, because I could take all of those things can inform me, and I can take it in my own way and then create from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and just the fact, another big learning piece for me through making the videos was that it's not a selfish thing. This was something I really had to get over, because part of when I quit ballet, my mentality was it's so selfish to be a dancer, to be an artist. I'm not helping anyone. How is this even making a difference? I just didn't see that, and that's why I studied psychology and sociology and tried to, and eventually, became a coach in my own way. But you know what I mean? It was that, being just an artist is not enough.
I so relate to that, and I'm so glad that you brought it up, because I know the people in my community listening to this, also experience a lot of these things of like this feeling of like, you know, is it selfish to just pursue something that gives me pleasure? Is it selfish to pursue something that isn't directly, you know, in a clear way, like helping somebody? And the thing that I discovered through my own process, and I think this is what you're speaking to, is that actually the more that you do that, the more that you are doing for yourself, your creativity, your self-expression, and you invite people to it, right? Like through your videos, through performance, through anything, their lives are improved.
Yeah.
And often in ways that are immeasurable. It's not like, oh, now you switched from, you know, eating Captain Crunch to brown rice. That's a clear switch. But art, you know, seeing art and how you're moved from it, you know, you can't touch it. It has like a magical aspect to it that just reaches people's hearts, you know, and moves them and helps them in immeasurable ways, in ways that nothing else in the world can. You know, like when the lyric of a song touches you and you're just like, ugh, you know, or you go see a dance performance and there's just a certain expression, certain way someone does a movement that just is just embedded in your mind, and it's just so beautiful and so moving. Absolutely. So I think it's just that one of the many, many myths of being an artist, oh, artists are selfish. Actually, we're like cutting open a vein and exposing ourselves and being so courageous doing that, you know, and by doing so, we're really helping so many other people, not just ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been touched so many times and helped so many times by hearing a song at the right moment, or, you know, it's just, it really is. It's amazing. And, you know, not only from the pure just inspiration aspect, but for me, like the dance videos, it's interesting because I started doing them right before a very tumultuous time in my life. My dad got really sick. In the same like couple of months, I had to leave my apartment unexpectedly. I was going through relationship ups and downs. Like all this stuff just started to happen in my life. And making these dance videos, like it became this grounding force for me. It was when all else was crazy and chaotic and stressful and scary, let me just go dance. And it's amazing what that act could do. Yeah. So many, especially of like my earlier dance videos, were made in the context of, you know, spending 12, 13 hours a day in the hospital and coming home and being in my parents' basement dancing it out, you know, and that, you know, I think there is that healing element. So it, like in so many ways, not that you have to go through a tragedy to experience the healing in art, but just like there's so like it's beyond what we can imagine, like what it can do. And that's the reason why like I'm so inspired, and I'm so inspired to help people. Like that still is a part of me. It's not that like I don't want to do that work anymore, and I do. And you know, through my creativity coaching and through the dance classes that I teach, like you had mentioned, the class that I'm offering right now is called You Can Dance Again. And it's really for people who might have danced like a little bit in the past, or like me, a lot in the past, but just kind of left it aside, and the real world comes in and now you're an adult and you don't really have recitals once a year anymore, and it kind of sucks, you know? It's like, I want to dance in a recital. So now what I'm providing is like an environment where you can come and you can dance again in a really safe and supportive way. And not only in the classroom, but I'm really dedicated to giving people the tools to then go out in their lives and dance and make stuff happen. And we make dance videos together. And
having taken one of Jess's classes in the You Can Dance Again class, I can say that I felt so safe. I also used to love dancing when I was younger, and when piano took center stage in my life, dance sort of went by the wayside, but it was always something I wanted. And what I loved about being in your class was that it really was safe. It really was fun. It really wasn't all those like, you know, intimidating, you know, classes that I tried to force myself to take in other places years ago. And I think that's what's so special about what you're offering is that, you know, yeah, you can walk into Broadway dance, but if you're someone like me who hasn't danced in a long time, you know, you don't really want to be side by side with like 20 professionals, You know what I'm saying? Like that
Exactly.
whole like run to the
Exactly.
front of the, class and center and be in the mirror. I mean, within the first 5 minutes of your class, we were laughing about that. And that just gave me so much courage to just have fun in there. And I had so much fun. I was so happy that I'd done it. And it was just a tremendous class. And you as a leader, as the person leading us through all of this, it was so inspiring and fun. So I highly recommend Jess's classes. And I also want to say that Jess is not just teaching dance classes. She's also leading something called Creative Fridays, which I want to ask you to talk to people about, because this is also another incredible opportunity. So, Jess, take it away. Tell us about Creative Fridays.
Thank you. So, Creative Fridays is after, I started Creative Fridays, which is a weekly blog and newsletter that started because it was my way of saying I want to hold myself accountable to continuing in this creative zone with making the dance videos and expressing myself. And not only do I want to do that, but I want to kind of share it with other people. First of all, so that it actually keeps me more accountable. Like, if people are expecting to hear from me, I got to do it. And also because it can just help other people. When you hear someone else's journey and you're like, oh yeah, like I could do that too, or I should pursue my passions. So that's really what it's about. I take elements from whatever's going on with me that week in my creative life and deliver it in a really fun and relatable way so that you get inspired and motivated to take action in your life, in your creative life. And it's really simple. If you go to my website, jessgrippo.com, there's a little blue box, and you can drop your name and your email in there. And just be part of it, start to receive the emails on Fridays. I'll also send you a fun gift and a bonus dance video when you sign up. It's a great way to connect. I always encourage people to comment too and share with me, so it's a two-way street every Friday, so you're really encouraged to put yourself out there. So I would love to have anyone from Total Singer Support come on over and join me there.
So what can people expect when they come to Creative Fridays? What happens there?
Are you talking about in the workshops or in the email?
In the workshop.
Okay, I didn't even mention the workshops
on Friday.
Yet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Then there are workshops too. Where what you can expect in the workshops is, again, I'm all about the supportive and welcoming environment. So from wherever you're at, you come, and there's a lot of sharing. So we each kind of just get the opportunity to say out loud why you're here and what you're doing in your life or not doing in your creative life. And There's a theme every month. The upcoming theme for this September is about letting go and getting organized for fall. So something that I know a lot of artists can struggle with is the organization and how to hone in all the creative energy.
So that's me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a Friday the 13th in September. And I give everyone worksheets and clear action steps and experiential exercises through movement and through meditation that help you to just have that space for yourself, right? A space where you can step outside of your life and just reflect a little bit, and then walk away with tools and support and focus to know what to do next.
Right.
So yeah.
And if let's say I really want to go, but I don't really know what I want to share. I'm not really doing anything creatively right now. I just kind of, I'm just kind of stepping out into my creativity for the first time in a while, or I'm scared to share or whatever. Is that okay? Can I just show up and not know?
That's totally fine. And in fact, many people do. I would say if you feel any, somehow that call and I feel drawn to this workshop, I don't know exactly why, just come, just show up, because just by showing up, you are you're sending a message that okay, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm willing to find out. And because of the group environment, there's so much that you learn and pick up from other people. So you don't really have to know, and you don't have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a great segue, because I wanted to ask you also about your coaching, and if you can share a little bit about, not doing it on your own, and what kind of coaching you offer people around creativity, and what benefits there are to that for them.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, what I offer, I call it creativity coaching or creative life coaching, because it's about your creative process, but it's also about your life at large. And in the main program that I offer, which is called the Thriving Artists Program, we have 6 months, and we go through a process of helping you to just uncover what it is that you want to create in your life, getting past the blocks that are stopping you, and stepping into yourself and your voice as an artist more fully, even if that scares the crap out of you. And twice a year, December and June, I hold a Creative Friday showcase, in which you have the opportunity to perform or present your creative project. So simultaneously, as we're working on your life and helping you to get through transition and manage different things happening and make sense of it and focus, I'm also guiding you through this process of creating a project. And you don't have to know what it is when you start out. Many women and men who do it don't. Like, they just come in and they're like, I have no idea what I want to do. But through the process of uncovering, they find what they have to say.
So how do you actually help people uncover this process? Like, if I come to you and I'm like, I know I'm full of ideas, I'm full of things that I want to do, I know I'm a creative person, I just can't seem to funnel it, I can't seem to choose one direction, or I just, I feel like so many people that I meet, and I was there myself, are sort of in this haze of, wanting to create and wanting to make art, and just not being able to choose, especially people who are talented in a lot of different areas.
Absolutely.
That they really could go in a lot of different areas. They're painters, they're singers, they're actors, they're all these things. What is it about the approach that you have that helps them really find what they want to do?
That's a really good question. I always say, creativity, the biggest challenge is just clearing out the crap that's in your way. Once you do that, you don't have to think as much. What's meant to come through will come through. So we do a lot of that crap clearing, excuse my language, but in the form of really getting to the root of it. What are, both from the inner perspective, what are the fears that are stopping you? What are the learned beliefs that you've had? What are the bad experiences with your creativity you've had in the past? How to work through all of those. And then just begin, because again, and we've spoken about in the past, the creative process is not this, no one's going to come and grant you a crown that says you are now an artist, go create this specific thing that you're meant to do. No, it's those little steps. And I really found, in my process, when I started making those videos, it was all about the little steps. I didn't think it was going to be something that I did for years to come. I didn't think it was going to inform my life in such a big way, but it ended up doing that. But at the moment, all I knew was I want to go dance in the park right now. Great, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go dance in the park. Cool. I want to post this video to YouTube and not share it with anybody. Cool, did that. Check. So it's it was just little steps, and that's, I think, the value in getting support for your creative process, is that sometimes we just need that little nudge to be yes, and do this. And it makes such a difference. You might think oh, I could do this all on my own and it's all great, but I don't know. I have found it personally very difficult. When I'm not in a supportive community and when I don't have someone kind of on my side guiding me, it can be very difficult. So.
Yeah. So I could see that by receiving that level of support from you and having someone on your side, and really somebody who's been through this process herself and who continues to share about her process, I could see that as being immensely valuable, particularly if I have a lot of creative aspirations and I need some honing in, some direction, and really some guidance around well, take the next step, just take the next step, just take the next step. Because like you said, it's not like anyone's going to crown you. It's really about, you're saying yes. And when you had that impulse to go to the park and dance, you just said yes to that impulse, right? And you cleared the crap that might have been there, and you just went and said yes to it and did it. And then slowly it evolved into what it is today. So that's really beautiful. And so I guess I just wanted to ask you if there's anything that you really want to share with people, any words of wisdom or tips that you want to leave people with around their creativity, anything that you think will really inspire them. No pressure or anything.
No. I mean, my instinct when you said that was like, get up right now and dance. Just like stand up and like.
About saying yes to that impulse.
You know, just move your body. Like and along those lines, just if I had to channel it into words, I would say, move your body. You know, because dance can be a creative outlet on its own, but just dance and movement and, you know, getting in your body is an opening and a channel for any kind of creative outlet. If you're a singer, if you're a painter, if you're a multi-talented person that doesn't know what you want to do, move your body more and you'll get past a lot of the crap in your head, and I think it will really help you to find your way and do your thing more.
So awesome. Such great advice. And I find that when I'm stuck, just getting up and turning on some music and, you know, shaking it a little bit just in my own house just changes my whole being. Like, I go back refreshed, just even a minute or two.
It doesn't have to be long. Really, you don't have to, like, go out and take a class necessarily. I mean, you could, but...
Well, you should definitely take Jess's class.
Yeah,
that's really going to inspire you. Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for speaking to everyone. And again, if people are interested in connecting with Jess, it's jessgrippo.com. Yeah. And Creative Fridays, and you can sign up and you can start receiving the articles and the information and the free gifts and the videos, and be invited to join the workshop that happens every Friday. Is that right? No, every other Friday.
About once a month.
Once a month, yeah. Friday. So definitely get on that if you're interested, and if this really speaks to you, I think you'll really enjoy it. So thank you so much. It's been amazing to talk to you, and I'm so glad we got to do this virtually. Fabulous. Really
Me
great.
Too. Thank you so much, Ruth, and thank you everyone for listening.
Okay.
Bye.